Wolfie, welcome to LINEAROCK.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Great to have you. It's such an honor. And let me tell you that Distance is such a beautiful song. It's really wonderful, very touching indeed, intense, you know, and it's having the success that it deserves. It's soulful. And, I like the fact that it starts with I'm so happy, delivering, just beautiful memories, positive vibes, just like the video that we just saw, and just like your father's unforgettable smile.
Absolutely.
And it goes really straight to the heart. Do you remember when you exactly, write the song, the precise moment? And with its big success, are you reconsidering the idea of including it in your first solo record?
No, I think it's right that it is a separate thing, because it's entirely for Dad, and all the proceeds are going to his favorite charity, and it's a tribute for him. It's less about my music and it's more about him in this moment. My album will come out and we can focus on that later, but for now this is all about him. But yeah, Distance, I had been writing it over the years, because my father had struggled with his health over the years, and sometimes it would get better and it would get worse, and it was a very tough thing to deal with emotionally, and it was just kind of an outlet for me in a way, because music is a very therapeutic thing, listening to it, writing it, and it was a song that wasn't 100% finished, but then when everything happened a month and a half ago, or I guess 2 months now, it felt right to finish and to get it out there as a tribute for him.
And since you say that this is a standout track, how will you surprise us with the musical direction of the whole album?
I think overall, Distance does fit within the umbrella, so to speak, of the sound, but it's definitely one side of it. I think overall, the album is a rock-centric album. There's kind of a core sound to it, and then to the left, there's a poppier sort of vibe like Distance. But then over here, there's heavier stuff too. It's kind of an all-encompassing thing. I'm excited for people to hear it.
Do you have a release date confirmed? I mean, it would be the spring, but when exactly?
Not planned yet. Right now we're just saying spring-ish for now, but right. You'll be hearing new music soon for sure.
And for how many years have you collected the songs for the album? Do you remember when you wrote your very first song for it? And will that first song make the album? Yeah, actually,
the one of the very first songs I wrote for the project was called Mammoth, and it'll be on the album. And I wrote it after the 2012 tour with Van Halen, so I've been writing since then.
Wow.
And so I guess, wow, eight years now. Yeah, so I've been writing for a very long time for this.
Was the choice of writing and playing everything by yourself, dictated by the working progress in an extended, amount of time with no specific deadline at all? Or would you have done this, anyways?
No, in a way, I think that this was my way of figuring out my own sound and what I wanted to do on my own without any outside influences. It was how I discovered myself as my own musician and songwriter, and I don't think I would have been able to do that if I hadn't done it this way. At first, I just wanted to see if I could do it, because I know I could play the instruments, but it's a big difference writing it and making it a cohesive product and stuff. But I think I did it, but I think it's kind of up for the fans and people to decide when they hear the music.
Okay. And Mammoth WVH will be the title. Will be like self-titled album, or do you have another title working on?
Not sure on that yet. It's a possibility, but
okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. And since you're putting the final touches to the songs, will you have any special guests? Maybe for just no, it will be
No,
just you.
it's
Just you.
it's 100% me. Yeah.
All right. And now that you have announced, a lineup for your band, which hopefully will come live soon, do you think that Mammoth WVH will become a real band also creatively in the next few years? Or will you always, predominate in this project and write everything on your own?
It's very possible that eventually we could all begin to collaborate. But for right now, at least in the infancy of the project, it'll definitely be just me in the studio, just because I enjoy it so much. It's just so much fun to be able to play everything, because it's just a fun environment to be in. But I wouldn't be against it down the line. Absolutely. It's very possible.
How many hours are you working on the songs now? I mean, it's like everyday thing, or you're taking some time,
Oh yeah, it's pretty much virtually ready to go at this point. It's just trying to figure out the proper release strategy and everything. We're working on some fun ideas that maybe can help stave it out and get a lot of content to people until we can all hang out together and get through these scary times.
So we knew you as a bass player, but you chose, the guitar and vocals, of course, as a solo artist. You sure carry, such a huge name in rock, and also the name Mammoth is a strong connection itself to your family and the origins, of your dad and your uncle's music. Did you ever think for a moment that it could become a kind of double-edged sword, carrying that name and also Mammoth together?
Oh, it certainly is. Just in general, because people will expect things from me and put a lot on me. I think it's important to go into it with an open mind and not expecting to hear the continuation of Van Halen, if you will, because this is all just me. I'm not trying to tread the same ground my father did. I'm trying to carve my own path, But I really like the Mammoth name because I think only like super diehard Van Halen fans are familiar with the name, and I think overall most people don't really know the connection. So in a way, it's a subtle homage without kind of treading the same ground, if you will.
Okay. And do you remember the very first time that you played the guitar, or your earliest music memory playing?
Well, I started on the drums when I was 10, and then when I was 12. I picked up the guitar because I wanted to learn how to play the song 316 that my father wrote for me. Yeah. And it wasn't until I was like 14, 15 that I picked up the bass. So I consider myself as a drummer first, actually.
So, but do you remember when you very first, played the guitar?
I can't really recall. All I know is it was just for a sixth grade talent show.
Okay, so it was pretty natural for you. So you said that your father was not a great guitar teacher at all. I can understand that because, when you have such a huge talent, it becomes so natural to you that it's difficult, to deliver it in a different way, teach maybe somebody. But what piece of advice did your father give to you for your solo career?
He did his best to not try and taint it. Like he wanted to see what I could do, so he could fully be proud of me without trying to influence the direction at all. But I think overall, one of my favorite things he said to me was it was a thing that his father told him. It's just one of my favorite things where he's like, if you ever make a mistake, do it twice so the audience thinks you meant to do it.
That's a good one. A really good one. He is a spirit. Okay. And do you use to build, your own instruments as well? Or is that something that you're not interested in?
Not really. But I did make sure to try and use different sounds to not necessarily sound like my father. Like on my album, I mostly use semi-hollow body, like 335s and stuff like that. I didn't exclusively use Wolfgangs and 5150s. You know, I did on a few songs, but I wanted to make sure that the sound was not mimicking my father. You know,
Okay.
my own thing.
Of course, do you still own that Frankenstein, right?
Oh yeah, I play it on Mammoth of all songs. That very first song I wrote, I play the original Frankenstein on that song.
And that will bring good luck, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So both your parents are in the showbiz. Has your mom ever been jealous since you did not choose acting as like, you know, for your future? No. I mean, for your artistic path.
Well, I wouldn't say no to it in the future, and I did. I was in theater in high school, but yeah, no, she's just the proudest mom that could be. I mean, it's her Twitter handle is Wolfie's mom, so she's certainly very happy.
Okay, so diehard, you know, Van Halen fans had mixed emotions and opinions when you joined the band as a bass player. In hindsight, you know, with some distance, and, you know, at the more mature age that you are now, what do you think of that choice from their point of view and how it evolved, you know, through the years?
It's completely understandable. I totally get it. But I think I more than proved myself over time that I was able to do that. And I'm proud of what I did.
We saw there's a huge tape storage in your dad's home, and I'm sure that now it's not the perfect time, you know, to think about it. But do you think you will do something with all that material at some point, you know, for him? Maybe not just for you, but for him.
Oh yeah, no, it would only be for him. I would never try to take the material for myself. It would be more out of respect for him. But I think. You know, I think whenever, you know, a largely influential artist passes, you know, the estate releases a bunch of unfinished stuff right away, and I think that's not cool. As much as people want to hear, it seems like it's just kind of taking advantage of the situation. Yeah. And I'd want to do it right and go through everything properly, at the very least, just to archive it. And if there is wonderful things that can be shared, I would absolutely do that. But it'll be a while. I wouldn't expect it anytime soon.
At the moment, which is your favorite track on the Mammoth WVH album? If you can tell us the title.
That's tough because that's like picking children. You know, I've spent so much time with this music, but I'll give you this. My father's favorite song is a song called Think It Over. And I think it'll surprise people a lot because it's one of the more popular songs on the album. So we'll have to hear that soon.
Last question. Which are your 3 favorite Van Halen songs? But you can pick just a hit, a classic, and a deep cut.
Whew. That's really tough. That's putting me on the spot. Normally, that's another one where it's just too hard to pick. Like the best I can do is pick like my 2 favorite albums from each era. Like I think for the Roth era, I really like, and I still love all of it, you know. But I think Fair Warning in 1984, I really love those albums. And for the Hagar era, I really like For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge and Balance, since I grew up with that, you know. But wow, picking songs, that is really tough. I'll have to think about it. I don't know if I can answer that right away.
Okay, so you will write us later about it. So,
sure.
Wolfgang, thank you so much for all this interview, for your time. It's been a pleasure. And since you mentioned Fair Warning, we're going to close the show with a special version of Unchained, taken from a live performance in Los Angeles from 2015. Thanks once again, and hope to see you soon in Italy. Ciao, bello.
Have a great one. Thank you so much.
Ciao.